Can you see it?
We just couldn't wait. We just went from the plane straight to the boat, and it's right here.
It's right there behind this door.
I want to sit.
Let us in, let us in. Oh, can see her in there.
Sierra.
They're coming.
She's in there somewhere. If you didn't already know, we're building our new dream boat here in the land down under, Brisbane, Australia. This project has been years of dreaming, planning, and very hard work. And after signing off on the design, we actually started the build just a few weeks ago. And she's already looking like a boat, at least from the pictures we've seen. But today, for the first time, we're about to lay eyes on Delos 2.0 for real.
There she is.
Whoa! Look at that! That looks so cool. This is our boat. It's really taking shape, huh?
Yeah. That's crazy. It looks so cool.
Somebody's been busy. Look at that, huh?
I love it too.
What are we looking at, guys?
The front seats.
Upside down seats.
Upside down seats. This is gonna be our chill zone on the bow. Woohoo! Ooh, I'm gonna get a top view. Whoa! Really coming together, huh?
Gives you a good perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah. You gotta come up here and take a look at it from up here, cuz. Wow. Looking good, Dan.
Thank you.
So this is what you've been up to, huh?
Yeah, keeping myself out of trouble.
So everything's just tacked in place right now.
They're quite a lot of it is welded. So
the
most
frames have been welded.
frames have been welded. Some of the frames that don't have a lot of support until it all goes together have only been tacked just to stop that distortion. But we'll weld that out now that it's all tied together.
Yep.
That'll be your first job, mate.
Yeah.
Straight on the welder.
Monday.
Straight into it.
Monday.
It's so cool to finally see the boat. I just popped outside for a minute because we've almost been traveling now for 48 hours, and I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, that like traveling just completely throws my body out of sync, and especially my digestion. I think it's just a combination of like airplane food and dealing with jet lag. This is why I'm happy to say that AG1 is a sponsor of this week's video. So over the last couple of years, I've always traveled with my AG1 travel packs. They're super easy to bring, and in this way I cover all of my nutritional bases and take care of my digestion, even when we're on the go. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. It's packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients. All you need is 8 ounces of water, 1 scoop of AG1, shake and drink. And if you want to spice it up, I love mixing it with ice and lemon or orange juice. I do think that cold orange juice is my absolute favorite though. It gives you that really like nice citrusy orange flavor. So give AG1 a try by heading to our link in the description, or just scan the QR code right here on the screen to get a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 AG1 travel packs free with your first subscription. Okay, now back to the video.
We couldn't wait for Monday to roll around, said no one ever. Except in this case, it really was true. And it was time to get to work. But first, a little backstory. So if you're new to the channel, we're gonna tell you a little bit about us and our backstory. Yeah. We've done quite a bit of sailing. It's been, what, well over 10 years and tens of thousands of miles.
14 years.
14 years of ocean crossing sailing.
Yeah.
And we've put a lot of thought into what we want for our new boat, and we've decided to build it here in Australia.
And this all came about a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we actually decided to fly here kind of on a whim. We're gonna go look at a boat. It's a cool design.
Wow, you just pulled me straight away, I love it.
And I just feel like we need to go see it in person.
Yep.
And I met a guy on the DIY catamarans group named Dan who was building this cool hull, and he said, hey Brian, why don't you guys sail to Australia and come take a look at the work I'm doing here? And I said, well, it'll take us a long time to sail there. Why don't we just fly there and say, hey, this is where the magic happens, huh?
This is it, mate. This is it.
And we just really liked the vibe of Dan and what he was doing and his whole team here.
And we're gonna build an aluminum catamaran. It makes complete sense to do it here.
Yeah, logistically, it makes sense. Monetarily, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We uprooted our entire family. We put our boat Delos on the hard in Raiatea.
Yep.
And we flew here, and we're here to build Delos 2.0.
Oh, that's so crazy. Which is absolutely insane.
It is amazing. I feel so excited about this project.
But a lot of things have happened.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
So since we made that initial trip here a couple of months ago, we worked with our designer, David, in New Zealand to kind of like finalize the design. There was a few changes and things that we wanted to do to it, so we got that done.
Yep.
The design was finalized, and then the design was basically taken out of the 3D model. It was flattened and then nested, and then those cutting files were sent to an aluminum manufacturer here in Australia named BlueScope. And they put them into their CNC machine and literally like cut out thousands of pieces of aluminum of all different thicknesses for us. So welcome to our router. You can see there the part it's cutting out now. You should be able to see some guidelines and etchings are already done. So that's the router head there, and that's currently what it's cutting. So we saw this piece here when we were looking at the actual router. So it'll work its way all through all of these pieces. So I think on your job, the whole kit was like 6.5 days of cutting or 13 shifts. So big job. We spent about $100,000 Australian on raw aluminum. It was just over 9 tons of aluminum,
crazy,
I think.
Yeah.
That got delivered to the shop here.
Well, we just arrived at the marina, parked the vehicle down the front of the marina to give us some space today because obviously something huge is going to be delivered, something exciting. So we got the first delivery of the alley for the boat build. Doesn't look like much, but yeah, some big exciting days now ahead to pull this apart and start the first section of the build.
And then Dan and his team began the process of taking those sheets, because they're mostly cut, but there's like little tabs left that hold everything in place. So those tabs had to be cut.
These are all those components from that first sheet, and this is the first sheet of 46 sheets. So the guys have a fair bit of work to do.
Sanded flush, and then the metal had to be prepared for fabrication.
We can see here that how they've been cleaned up, the edges all been filed away, ready for welding. Part numbers like so, still nice and clean and easy to see, ready to start the assembly.
And then they started building frames. So all the while we were kind of like preparing Delos to get ready to leave her for a while. They were building frames and creating a strong back for the frames to sit on, and then metal supports for the frames to sit on and become aligned, because the whole thing is laser aligned.
Yep.
In the shop. It's a pretty cool process.
Happy with that, mate? They've built all the frames and now they're starting to stand the actual frames themselves.
And now
we're here.
we're here. And so we're ready to get our hands dirty and get started and yeah, just hit the ground running.
Awesome.
Oh, and did I mention we're adjusting to the bizarre world of land life?
Look at this fridge, guys. Oh my god. Look at us, guys. We're in a house.
It's so crazy coming to a new country, and especially a different one like this where we come from.
Yeah.
This like tropical environment, and now we're here and we need to buy like socks and shoes and
Look at us.
I mean, look at this. I'm wearing 2 shirts, I've got boots, I've got jeans, I'm even wearing underwear. It's like
It's been a whirlwind too. I find when we arrive in a place like this, it's just like a lot of things that needs to be organized.
we need to open a bank account.
I know. Still need to find a daycare for Sierra, but
Today
Yep.
is our first day of work. So
We're
I'm gonna go
just
in
crazy.
and it's time to get on the job. There's
Yep.
no time to be wasted.
yeah.
Lots of welding to do.
A few quick questions so people can get to know you a little bit better. When did you start welding?
16 I started my apprenticeship, boiler making. So not just welding, fabric. So boiler maker is a fabricator and a welder. A welder is a welder. And then in Australia you just do a boiler making apprenticeship and that
Okay.
covers everything.
Kurt, when did you meet Dan?
Met in the power stations
Okay.
doing shutdown work, and yeah, here we are 20 years later welding up a tinny.
What is your spirit animal? Like if you would be an animal, what would it be?
I don't really know, you'll have to come back to me.
Okay.
So I think I'm a lion, I believe. I've been told.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt says sloth.
Sloth. Yeah. Imagine if a sloth mated with a lion.
That'd be you.
That'd be me.
I got
And
kicked in the face a couple of times.
Oh,
well, if Kurt was an animal, what would it be?
jellyfish.
Tell me. What made you want to build an aluminum boat yourself?
I think for me it was just the satisfaction of starting a project that big from start to finish. I don't know, I like building stuff with my hands, I suppose. Doing stuff with my hands, not that sort of stuff, Kurt.
So actually, a little backstory. So you started the first haul, like
Yep.
you found the plans.
Yep. So we were sitting on a beach over on Moreton Island and the sailboats were going by and Mel sort of said, you know, geez, that'd be nice. And me being me said, oh, we should build one. And that's where it started. And it just sort of evolved from there. We looked at Mumbies and other bits and pieces, but I think once we found the De Villiers design, it was what we wanted to do. And everyone said you can't do it. And here we are today.
So we've been cranking away.
Crank it away.
We're 7 weeks in,
Yep.
making pretty damn good progress, I think.
Flying along.
So what are we doing right now? We got the frames in.
Frames are in, yep. So we've finished fabricating the bridge deck together and we're looking at starting to put the longitudinal stiffeners in.
Cool, so basically the way this works is there's
we
a
have
number.
the thickness of the material at the start, so 6 mil thick. Then it gives us a code, 3C, and it tells us it's on the starboard hull but on the port side of the starboard hull.
And then we basically look that up on the drawings on the iPad.
Yep.
And then we find it, we zip tie it in place.
Yep.
To keep them from falling off and knocking us in the head. And then we tack weld it.
Yep, or we can leave the zip ties on but won't last real long.
Not seaworthy.
Wow. These first couple of days have been an absolute whirlwind. So I've been trying to get Sierra into a daycare here in Australia, but it ended up being a little bit more difficult than I thought. I've been calling probably like 20 places and they're all full. I think this area is just smack bang with families and kids.
And also on top of everything, apparently her vaccinations is not up to standard for daycares in Australia. So I gotta go to the doctor and get her vaccinated. And yes, I'm just in the midst of all of these things. At least the house is absolutely lovely.
This is Sierra's room and she really loves it. It's super nice that we found a place where she has kind of her room. Land life perks, a bath. Look at that Barbie. It's so cool to have these certain perks when you live on land. Is absolutely amazing, and a huge fridge and freezer is definitely one of them.
I haven't actually been able to go to the shop much at all, which is a bit of a bummer. I wish I could be there, but it is what it is. And hopefully next week we will be able to put Sierra starting daycare. But I know that the boys are doing amazing in the shop and that it's coming along.
All right, day 2 on the job here, and look at my fancy sporty new shirt. It's so nice. I actually almost feel a little bit guilty about welding in this gear, but that's what it's meant for. It's actually sent to by our friend and patron Lewis. It's his company Benchmark FR, fire resistant clothing. It's super cool stuff. If you're looking for some fire resistant work clothing, go ahead and check it out because they got some awesome stuff. So yesterday we were working at putting a lot of the stringers on, so we got the stringers up and they're just zip tied in place. And then this afternoon, Dan and I are gonna be working at tacking them in. So basically what we have to do is we have to transfer the marks from one side of the bulkhead to the other side.
Set another ruler up parallel on the other side. Basically, that gives us the same angle.
Yep.
So the 2 rulers are parallel.
And then we use a clamp to pull the stringer in tight to the actual frame itself, and then we when you're doing this, it's kind of like a specific order of operations, tacking everything together in a specific order to avoid distortion of the metal, because as it heats, things will shrink and things will expand, and you can actually get the boat out of shape if you're not real careful. But Dan knows what he's doing.
So we're going to start tacking in some of the longitudinal stiffness.
Yeah,
So Brian, straight onto the welder.
let's do it.
Yep.
All right. The last time lapse was probably pretty funny. You would have seen me just standing on the bridge deck, and my job was basically human ballast. All right, center.
Yeah, come back about a foot from the join in the center.
Both Dan and Kurt were underneath, and they were welding with placing the bridge deck plates on the top. And so my job was literally to stand where they told me and shift my weight around and put my weight exactly where they needed it so that it would press the whole plates down, and then they tack welded it from beneath.
Right, we're going out towards Kurt's side now.
Kurt's side. So that's my job this morning, human ballast. I'm pretty good at it.
Now, foot off the center. Right near the join.
Right there. All right, I'm in the center right up front. So the reason why we're doing this is because you can't just weld aluminum like continuously. The heat will actually get in and distort the metal. What we're actually doing is you tack it, tack it, tack it, tack it, and then you come through after it's all been tacked, and then you weld everything. And as you can see, it's turning out really nice and flat. Is this the big test?
Big test, mate. See how close we
I
are.
think we did.
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. There you go, Brian. What's that say?
I don't know, it's metric, I can't read it.
6205.5. We'll go the other way. 6205. Half a mil.
Half a mil
Hey,
off.
stuff it.
Ah, that's nice work. That's rocket ship work there, huh?
That's it.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, eat your heart out, come build your rocket.
Look at this. Dawn comes early in Australia. 5 in the morning. G'day, Dan.
G'day, g'day.
You ready to go to the office?
Certainly are, mate. Let's get into
Build
it.
a boat, buddy.
Let's go and build a boat, eh?
This is a new experience for me, Dan. 5 in the morning,
Good, isn't it?
rolling into work.
Good.
I've been enjoying it though. It's taken a little bit of getting accustomed to, because usually I roll out of bed like, I don't know, 7, 8,
Yeah.
have a nice cup of coffee looking out over the water, go swimming, go to the beach, do some working out. But now Now my working out is in here.
That's it.
Oh, look at that.
Here he is. He's got his user grade.
Geez, you gotta wake up pretty early to beat Kurt here. Morning, Kurt.
Morning.
How's it going?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, living the dream here.
Living the dream.
So you pretty much got the bridge deck tacked in yesterday, which is a huge area. It's like the size of a dance floor.
Plan today is to fit
What's-
that last plate on the bridge deck.
Yeah?
So we'll need to stiffen up.
The aftmost
Yeah,
one.
we'll need to stiffen up underneath and make a couple of frames down to the concrete just
Yeah.
to support it. We'll put some more longitudinal stiffeners in.
These are the longitudinal stiffeners. These add strength and rigidity to the structure. And then we're tacking them, tack. And then later on, after everything's tacked, we come through and fully weld everything.
Once we're happy with the position that all the frames are in and we're happy that it's nice and true, we'll start.
We do all this work with the structure kind of upside down, right? So obviously the bottom of the boat is up, the top of the boat is down.
Yep.
And why is that, Dan?
That's just the way that we build them. Some people build them up the other way, but I think it's easier to fit your bottom plating if it's that way. You can imagine trying to fit those bridge deck plates upside down.
Yeah,
Got to lift them.
it's a lot easier to stand on it than hold it up.
All the top plates, just let gravity help you out.
Okay, I've received my assignment from Dan for the morning. So these are the lids to the tanks. It'll be fuel and water. We got to get these ready to weld in. So I'm going to be sanding it, washing it, getting the water off. When the metal comes from the factory, it's got a little coat of oil on it. So we got acetone. We just spray a little bit of acetone on there to get it off. And then using the air sander to get the top layer off. Making amazing progress today. We got the tanks in on starboard side. You can start to see the keel starting to take shape. But then our momentum suddenly ground to a halt. Found a few problems in the plan. There's a few parts that
Bit short one end.
So each of these frames should be a meter. From here to here should be a meter. And when we measure the top of the boat that spans the water tank up there, this keel is covering 3 meters. Should be 3 frames. So from this edge to the other side should be 3 meters. And it is 2 meters and
82
so we're 18 centimeters short.
millimeters.
I don't know, I would probably call that a bug if I were working on a software program in the plans, but anyway, luckily it's just metal. So we're gonna cut that part out, weld in a little bit more. I'm just gonna cut enough to do 2 of these, yeah.
2 of these, yep. Couldn't get us down in trouble.
Whoa, look at that. Boom.
3 meters.
So these are called run-on, run-off tabs, right?
Yep. It's just to get your cold start out before you come onto the material you want to weld.
I can see you've done this before.
Too long.
Looks pretty good to me.
It'll go in, mate.
Cool. Well, that's a much better fit. That's the keel starting to take shape there.
Yep, that's it.
Bug fixed. Hi,
Hi.
how's it going?
Oh my
What have you
god.
been up to today?
Just trying to get Sierra's vaccinations into Australian standards and dealing with so much bureaucracy and so much digital, what do you call it? When he's trying to digitalize everything and it just comes to a point where it's like doesn't work. Because we're not in the system. So you have to be in the system to get into the system. So I'm in like this loop of shit.
But I was hoping to brighten Kaz's day by showing her all the things that were going right. All right, Kaz, I'm gonna show you what we've been up to since you last got here. The first thing is look down.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
This is the bridge deck.
Yeah,
It's been all
there.
tacked on to the deck. Most of the stringers are now in where there was holes before. Yesterday we did these. These are the escape hatches.
Okay.
This is the water tank. This is the top of the tank. This is the keel starting to take shape. Yeah, so that's the keel. And so this, once the whole plates go on, then all the area under there will be the water tank.
Wow, it's gotten so far just in this week where I've been dealing with all of Sierra's stuff. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. Progress on the build was off to a strong start. But adjusting to land life? Well, that's a whole new ballgame. But still, we did our best to take it all in stride.
What kind of domestic life is this? What do you think,
Whoa.
Brian? Our first week on land.
Land life is hectic. I don't know if we're doing it right.
That's a little bit less than that.
That's what we're going for, right? I think the first week has been a lot of adjusting. It's like changing countries,
Yeah.
changing houses, starting a new job, trying to get your kid into daycare, like
Yeah.
opening bank accounts, doing doctor's visit, getting a
Mm-hmm.
car, moving into a house. I don't know, it's been
quite a lot.
but the one thing I'm absolutely 100% sure of is we made the right decision to build the boat here.
Yeah.
Like just after working with Dan and Kurt and Nick for a week, the guys are super talented and the team is amazing, and just the knowledge they have.
Yeah.
Like even Nick the apprentice knows so much already. So basically like I'm the apprentice to the apprentice. And like I'm just trying to like help out and bring tools and do a little bit of welding, and I'm learning an incredible amount. But the progress that's been made in the few weeks since the metal's been delivered it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's just so
mind
crazy.
blowing. Just the way the whole structure is coming together and the accuracy of everything. I don't know, I was telling you, like, we did a measurement along the bridge deck of the entire structure, and over 16 meters of boat, it's like 2 millimeters out of perfect square.
Elon Musk, each yard out, come build your rocket.
What was your
Holy
biggest
shit.
challenge this week?
The biggest challenge was just dealing with all the rules when it came to the daycare. It's
Australia's
just
a
lot.
bit full on when it comes to rules and
Yeah.
regulations. Some have referred to it as a proper nanny state.
But we found a place and she's starting tomorrow and I feel super good about it. And I think we're over that little hump, you know, the first little
The first
hump of
adjustment
like,
week?
holy shit week, the holy shit week.
The
we should
holy
call it.
shit week. Up next on Delos, we take a deep dive into why we chose to build an aluminum boat, the pros and cons, and show you what it's like to work with this really cool material as we fabricate the engine mounts, the rudder tubes, and some other pretty sweet projects.
How did you meet him? At work or school?
Come into work.
I'll be there on this side, so I can hear what he's saying.
Dribble on his chin.
Why are you guys lurking around in the background?
Because this is incredibly entertaining. Oh.
It's got AG1 in my eye.
Oh no, you got AG1 all over your face.
Oh god. Okay.
That's got to go in the video outros. This is what we go through doing our promos.
Oh god. Okay. I look okay? I'm gonna do a drink shot. Why do you have this here? Why do you have that there?
I just don't want everybody don't know my name.
What is your favorite part of welding though? Even if it's your part-time job.
Knock off.
Smoko.